Hello, everybody. This is Janice Masters, the Shaman Mama. And as scheduled, I am here at 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, January 31st, because this is such a... Hi, Joan. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. This is a powerful day, as you know, which we will talk about in a moment. I'm going to take a moment to go away and have this video turned on in my Art of Miracles for Today's Indie Women group. So if you will bear with me just for a moment, I will find it and let's see here. There's going to be an easier way to do this in the future, I promise. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to share it to my group like this. Great. Okay, and now I just need to go to that group so that I can see when comments show up there. And we're good. Okay. So, thank you for being patient. I see you're here after all. Howdy to you too. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Janice Masters, the Shaman Mama. I've been working with sensitive, empathic women for almost 40 years now, helping them to let go of dysfunctional patterns that stop them from living the lives they came here to live, and helping them to value themselves, develop self-confidence, self-esteem, and the ability to be assertive in holding boundaries and limits that really respect their sovereign space. You'll find me at janicemasters.com. I do group work with women, and mostly I do private one-to-one coaching, which is very powerful. If you have gotten value from this page or from a group or from my profile in terms of the stuff that I share, then I can promise you that working privately with me will move you forward even faster and deeper for really lasting change. And that's what we're looking for. Hi, Ellen. Thank you for being here. So right today we're gathering because this is a very... Oh, thanks, Joan. Thanks for letting me know it showed up on the group too. I'm like a juggler here trying to keep both things going. So I'll do my best without being too crazy scattered, because I don't want to do that. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it all. So we're gathering today because we have the amazing experience in our world with our moon, Mama Luna, of it being a blood moon, which means that it's close to the earth and appears somewhat red. It is a blue moon, which means that it is the second full moon in this particular month of January. And it underwent this morning a full lunar eclipse. Now, all of this constellation of events all happening at once apparently has not happened for the past 150 some years. So it's a big deal. And if you've been reading anything that I've been sharing and others have been sharing from the actual astrologers who can really pinpoint the energies and the houses and the effects, you know that it really is kind of a big deal. So we've been talking online about how has it affected your sleep, how has it affected your feelings of well-being, and how has it maybe been even kind of a roller coaster for you to be experiencing the impact of these energies. I'm going to turn this down and turn that on. Okay, let's see if we can. Okay, it looks like it's all showing up. Great. I'm just checking. Ellen says, I couldn't sleep last night. A lot of people have said that they have had that experience. And there's been this continuum between I couldn't sleep last night, as you said, Ellen, to others of us having very deep, long sleeps, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours of deep sleep. And then others, like I think you mentioned, Joan, sleep for a while, wake up, go back to sleep. So sleep has been affected that way. People have experienced headaches and other muscular aches and pains. So, when we think about how the moon affects us, we may not tend to be quite as literal as this, but if we think about the tides and the fact that we are composed of so much water, how could we not be affected physically? Joan says, very wakeful, extremely tired during the day, and yes, headaches. Yeah, my husband was having the headaches. Other people who've commented on the threads that I've started have talked about headaches. So there's all of this physical manifestation of the pulling and the pushing of the moon energies on our actual physical bodies, which again are 90-some% water. So yeah, of course we're affected. I mean, if you've ever been in or even just read about a rip current that occurs in the ocean, where the current is so strong that you better not try to swim against it because it will tire you out and that will be the end of you. So basically what you do is you relax, you offer no resistance, and you swim along the shoreline, not pushing against that rip current. That's pretty much what you have to do with lunar energies when they're this strong. We don't want to resist them. We want to ground and center, and then let's follow the flow. I mean, if your body tells you you need a nap in the middle of the afternoon, okay. And if your body, like Joan says, is wakeful, then so you get up and read a book, and then maybe, hopefully, you go back to sleep, knowing that this is not a permanent situation. This is not a permanent condition that we're experiencing. Yeah. So we're also looking at the energy of this constellation of lunar events and how they're affecting our lives in terms of endings and beginnings. Very powerful. Again, if you're reading the astrologers, which I'm not an astrologer, but I can tell you that some pretty powerful shifts are happening. For me personally, for others within, I have a group called, which some of you are in, The Art of Miracles for Today's Indie Woman, in which we play with the law of attraction and lots of other stuff that deepens and empowers that process of manifesting miracles. Endings. Joan is talking about endings. Yes, we're noticing endings. Can you be specific, Joan? Is there an ending that you would be willing to share with us? I am feeling an ending myself, which is a very poignant one. You may have seen earlier today I posted that I walked a mile, I biked 6 miles on my stationary bike, and then I went to an hour yoga class, which I just started on Monday. And I'll say more about that in a minute. But the ending is about being really stuck about how to honor my body with respect to diet and exercise. I looked at the bottom shelf of my bookcase, which is behind me over here, and I noticed that there are a number of books about diet and health and exercise that I'm putting them in a shopping bag. I will not throw them in the garbage. I will find some place that can use them. Joan says, yes, for me, it has been a business model I used, ending, and groups I was in, ending. That's big stuff. Those are really big commitments and connections. So those kinds of endings are really, again, there's a poignancy to it. It's when it's time to let something go, we feel that it's time. And at the same time, we may grieve the necessity to let it go. So the thing that I'm experiencing is that as I am letting go of an old way of trying to control and be perfectionistic with my body, and you might ask the snappy question, how's that working out for you? Not that great. and my health is good. I carry more weight than I wish to for the sake of my heart and my knees and my hips, and you know, but I'm healthy. But that's not even the point. The point is, am I loving my body? Am I compassionate toward my body? Am I fully inhabiting my body? Am I taking pleasure in living in this physical vehicle that I call my body guru, because she's the one I need to learn from? So there has been an ending of an old way of pushing against the river, pushing against the riptide that did not work out well for me. And there's been a shift. Once I made the decision that I wanted a different perspective, a totally different experience around my living in my body, then things started coming into my awareness and my consciousness that completely and totally supported that. One of them is the yoga class that I went to this morning. I started it on Monday, and I've been to some yoga classes along the way. I've done Kundalini yoga, I've done Hatha yoga, I've done a lot of different kinds of yoga. Svarupa yoga, which is delicious and delightful. This particular yoga is, you may be in a chair, you may be on the floor. For some asanas, you may stand at the bar. It happens to be a ballet studio as well as a yoga studio. And from this teacher's perspective, it's all about inhabiting the body and tapping into the sensory pleasure of the body. I learned something, and this is another piece of the ending. Joan says, oh yes, ending the beliefs. We have to be a certain size or weight. Sure. Yes, the beliefs have a lot to do with where we end up. And if we're lucky, and if we're assiduous in our investigation and inquiry, then we'll bump into those beliefs that have us locked into a certain thing that really isn't working out that well for us. I was turned on to a book a while ago, Meditation Secrets for Women. And the thing, before I even bought the book, I was reading the review on Amazon, and this is what caught my attention, because I have been a transcendental meditation practitioner for 45 years plus. And she said, given the fact that most meditation techniques were developed by and for celibate monks who were doing their best to detach from the body and the world, and I went, bingo, duh. This has been a wonderful practice for me, transcendental meditation. And then she goes on to say, let's look at a feminine approach to meditation, one in which we actually want to connect with, inhabit, dwell in, appreciate, and enjoy the pleasures of the body. So she had me at that. Bought the book, began to read it, and there were some major shifts that happened for me consciousness-wise and experientially. And so this yoga class, which a friend turned me on to, and by the way, she mentioned this yoga class to me probably a year ago. And that really speaks to when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I'd love to hear from more of you about your endings and beginnings, because there is a wave of energy which is helping us to let go of the things that we're ready to release, and also will allow us to feel like we're riding a wave into those things that we wish to embrace. And so, we want to be clear. Sometimes in our miracles group, the Art of Miracles for today's Indian woman, we talk about how the clarity about what miracle you want moves around a bit. You may think you want this, but then as you stick with it and you inquire and you work with it and you process, you understand that it wasn't exactly that, it was closer to this. And so you become more clear, more focused on what you actually want. And then you can actually begin to align your energies with it. You can begin to look at the limiting beliefs that keep you out of that experience and begin to turn those around with some powerful processes we have. I love this because all of the comments are showing up right here, so I don't even need to pay attention to this. That's a relief. Ending the need to be distracted and bifurcated in my attention, and I can just put my attention right here. That's great. So my question, one of the questions I'd like to pose to you who are here is, what has shifted already for you? Joan, you have certainly addressed that in talking about the business model and the groups that you have been using and have been participating in. Hi, Stacy. Glad you're able to join us. We're talking about these powerful moon energies and the endings of things that we wish to release and let go of, patterns, experiences, and how we're going to be able to ride a wave of energy that will carry us forward into those things that we really wish to include in our experience now. So how have you been affected so far? What's shifted already? And most importantly, and I want to put this umbrella over all of it, has your self-love and self-compassion deepened? Oh, good, Stacy. That's great. You can watch the whole thing later. I'm glad you're able to get on now anyway. So if you have a question, chime in, and I'll do my best to answer. We're really, when we talk about miracles, because I'm broadcasting into my Art of Miracles group, and sometimes a miracle is just a shift in perspective. And so I want you to ask yourself if you are noticing the miracles that have already manifested into your life, which you may not be considering as miracles. So that's one question. Have you gained clarity about what it is you truly, truly desire? What is for, not just what ego desires, because that's a whole other thing that we definitely get roped into, but what is for your highest good with respect to body, mind, and spirit? Because my ego led me down many pathways that sounded to my left brain like they made sense about taking care of my health and my well-being. But they had nothing to do with my highest good. Now, I will say that along the way, I have learned and integrated a lot of things about nutrition, about exercise, about health and well-being. So, nothing is lost. It's just that we don't want to get perfectionistically and rigidly stuck on something as the right answer when perhaps it isn't what resonates the deepest and the highest with our soul for our highest good. So anybody want to talk about what's already shifted? What are you aiming for? What miracle are you looking for these days that you're wanting to apply our steps, our Art of Miracles map to make it easier, in line with our motto of no trying hard? That's the thing to get away from, is the idea that somehow if there's something we want to manifest into our lives that borders on seeming impossible, because let's face it, there have been some things manifested in our group that have seemed impossible. We have one woman in our group, and I will not name her because if she wants to share this, she may, but she was divorced over a decade ago, really had not been dating, seemingly randomly met a man a while ago. And nobody's more surprised than she is that it has turned into a really loving, fun, respectful relationship. I love this woman. She and I are good friends. And I'm one of those people who is so thrilled for her. And I'll tell you something else about her. We had a challenge going on within our Art of Miracles group, which we have every month. Who is the most engaged in the group? Who comments the most? Who replies the most? Who posts the most? And there's a cool thing that comes with the group from Facebook that gives me those statistics. I don't have to go through counting anything. She was one of the top 10, from which is drawn randomly a winner each month for a prize. And she private messaged me this morning, and she said, I see that I'm in the top 10 and could potentially be pulled as the winner of the prize for this month. I want you to take me out of the running because I have already won the grand prize with the support and the love that I've gotten from this group as my miracle has manifested. How do you like that? That's the kind of thing that happens in our Art of Miracles group. Joan says, it isn't what happens. The miracle stands right before us and we don't see it. That's very often true. Do you have an example of that, Joan? Because I know you've had some mighty wonderful things going on in your life these days, as I have. I have a loved one who recently got injured on his job, and he really fell into a depression as he dealt with the loss of his ability to work, his ability to be pain-free. I mean, you know, if you've ever gotten injured, you know there's a whole constellation of things that really challenge your self-image and your lifestyle. The miracle that I'm looking at is that now I hear him whistling and playing guitar and going for a walk. And, you know, the miracle is the shift that happens. Very often, the miracle is the shift from this to that. We have another woman in our group who has a child who was on a foreign exchange program in Europe. And the program was not well run. The child was not having a good experience, and yet it was a year-long commitment. And she was determined to manifest a miracle of getting her the heck out of that situation and back home. And she did. And I won't tell you all the steps she went through, and I won't tell you how she distracted herself by doing things that she loves, and I won't tell you how she did it with no trying hard, and I won't tell you that she didn't worry about her child. But I will tell you that she put all of the steps together from our Art of Miracles map, and she manifested getting that kid home in short order. Joan says, I was speaking to the guy your friend met. I have friends who are good friends with men, and they are wanting to meet their love mate, and there they stand before them. Yeah, you see it. You see, oh my gosh, you've been good friends with this guy for how long? And you grok each other, and you connect on so many levels. And what is missing? How is it that you're not seeing that he is right there in front of you? That's certainly a possibility for a lot of people. That's true. I think we all could point to miracles that, as you say, stand before us and we don't notice them. Sometimes when something unpleasant happens, we don't see it or perceive it as a miracle until after the fact, when we realize the domino effect of what has shifted and changed as a result of that unpleasant thing that happened. Honestly, I said this recently to someone about the way that my first marriage ended, with him having an affair. At the time, it was wrenching and terrible, and my ego was inflamed. Okay, but, and it was a good thing. It was a miracle that that marriage ended, and so neither one of us had to stay in pain. Both of us could go on to be happy with other people. And I'll be celebrating my 30th wedding anniversary next Tuesday to the love of my life, whom I met 2 months after my divorce was finalized. 2 months. Because I had been getting ready the whole time I was in that marriage and through the separation and divorce. Stacy says, I love hearing these miracle stories. Helps refrain to look for that miracle in the retrain to look for that miracle in the everyday circumstances without question. You know, if we open our heart and we are able to reside in trust, then we really can look at everything. Joan says, yes, my car, $2,100 repair bill, 17-year-old car. Thought maybe it was time, but I love my car. I thank her all the time for her service. The repair guy, when he saw the mileage, said, hey, you're just breaking her in. That's great. That's great. I had a Volvo like that, Joan. Oh my gosh. Took her in for repair, and the guy said, oh, these things don't hit their stride until 500,000 miles. So yes, I get it. I get it. Yeah. oftentimes we don't experience the miracle until we step into gratitude or appreciation, both of which are very high vibrating emotional experiences. So, any more questions? I'd like to keep these live streams under a half an hour because I respect your time and mine as well, and I will look forward to doing the next one. But I'm happy if you have something to share about what's already shifted, what you're hoping the lunar energies will carry you forward into, so we can support you with that, because that's what we do in this group. A lot of love and support. Or if you'd like to share what's already ended, what are you finished with? Oh, I do want to share something else with you. I was going to share it at the beginning, but I guess now is a perfect time to share it. And it is a Gaia Miracle card, which is my favorite deck. And this one is called The Enchanted Forest. And the subtitle under it is Mystery, Magic, Excitement. And I'm going to read you what it says because I think it's perfect for right now. 1 minute, life seems rather mundane and boring, and then all of a sudden, someone or something sweeps into your world like a breath of fresh air. All of a sudden, you feel as though you're on a magical mystery tour with a renewed sense of passion and excitement for life. And it doesn't matter that you have no real idea of where this is all leading you. In fact, not knowing only creates more excitement. Life is now full of romance and seemingly endless creative possibilities. Embrace all that comes your way. Enjoy the journey and don't be in a hurry to settle things down or draw conclusions. Allow things to unfold in their own way and time. What unravels will bring you lasting joy and a deep sense of fulfillment. The affirmation is, I'm open to new ideas and adventures. Life is full of endless creative possibility. I embrace each opportunity that comes my way. I love the magic and mystery of life. I trust my heart and I believe in love. Oh, a ship just went through the channel where Joan lives. The shipping channel is right in front of her home. And her name, New Aspiration. Whoa, is right. Thank you, shipping company, for sending that particular girl through right now. New Aspiration. So who wants to throw out a new aspiration of theirs before we close? This is a good time to throw it into the collective pot so that we can bring our amazingly powerful collective energy to it. Anybody? If you watch this later as a replay, I urge you to make comments. I will come back and look for them. Joan Silva says, my body is my friend. Oh, I love that. I love that. And we hold that intention for you to have that experience. Joan, my body is my friend. Anybody else? Got one you want to throw into the collective pot here so we can support you with it? Okay, well, if you think of it later and you would like to comment, please do. This is Janice Masters from janicemasters.com, and you are welcome to join our Art of Miracles for Today's Indie Woman Facebook group. You are welcome to connect with me to discuss the possibility of working privately with me, which will move you forward really quickly and with lasting change. And in the meantime, I bless all of you and thank you so much for being here and spending this time together. And may we all enjoy the fruits of this lunar experience. And may Mama Luna move us forward in amazing and miraculous ways. I love you all. Thank you for being here. See you next time. Bye.